Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. Singer Mary J. Blige is upset that she has to pay alimony to her ex-husband. And according to reports, singer Mary J. Blige is extremely upset that she has to pay $30,000 a month to her former husband, Ken Isaacs, that she's gone on a tour inspired by her album Strength of a Woman, and she basically is just so upset about having to pay this spousal support that she says that having to pay spousal support to a man is whack. Now, when it comes to Mary J. Blige, she's basically the latest in a group of women like singer Adele and actress Halle Berry, who got the shock of their lives when they looked to divorce their husbands and found out that the husband wouldn't be the one having to pay spousal support to get out of the marriage, but the wife would have to wind up paying the husband in order to be able to maintain his lifestyle once the marriage wound up ending. Now, what's happening to rich women like Mary J. Blige and Halle Berry is that they are reaping what their mothers and grandmothers, who were feminists, sowed when they sought to go out here and change the divorce laws in order to make it where there was no fault for divorce. Now, before these no-fault divorce laws were put in place in the 1970s, the only reasons for a divorce were usually adultery or some sort of issue in the marriage that basically led to a divorce. Now, in some states like California, they have other issues as related to divorce, such as cruelty. These were the reasons for a divorce, and divorces were harder to get. However, many of the women who were a part of the feminist movement wanted to be able to institute divorces because they didn't want to see women stuck in loveless marriages or marriages that they did not find emotional satisfaction from, and that's where they petitioned many states to institute no-fault divorce. And under the standards of no-fault divorce, a woman could divorce a man for any reason, and a man could divorce a woman for any reason. And this basically led to the situation of looking to separate the economic assets. And back in the 1970s, and 1980s, when these divorce laws were being implemented, it oftentimes hurt the man who had to pay to maintain the woman's lifestyle with this alimony, and many men complained about these laws. However, in the 21st century, it is now the women who are complaining regarding these alimony payments as related to these divorces. But these alimony payments are basically the law working the way the law is supposed to work, because the law is not supposed to be biased as related to gender. And that's what's got women like Adele and Halle Berry and Mary J. Blige extremely upset. It's got them upset because the law is not favoring one gender over the other, but going and meeting the statutes as related to the standards of the rules of the law, which clearly state that when it comes to alimony or spousal support, it basically is there to maintain the lifestyle of the spouse who makes less money than the other partner and be able to pay to maintain their lifestyle. And that is the standard of law that is being implemented as related to women like Mary J. Blige and Halle Berry and Adele. They're finding that the standard of law has no bias, and that's where these women are upset, because in our gynocentric society, women are so used to being able to get all sorts of benefits in society that they are shocked when they're made to take accountability for a situation. And that's what Mary J. Blige is upset about right now. She's upset that she has to take fiscal responsibility for a ex-husband that she alleges wound up cheating on her, and is now being made to take fiscal responsibility for this man, and being made to take this fiscal responsibility because of the standard of law. And this has her saying it's whack on an emotional level, but that emotion means nothing according to the rule of law. No, that whole emotional aspect of things does not matter because, again, according to the law, it's all about the spouse who makes the most money being made to pay for the spouse who makes less money. And when it comes to these women, what they're finding is that they basically wound up getting involved with men who made less money, and now those men are reaping the benefits of these divorce laws that were created by feminists in order to make things equal. And ironically, as things are made equal, what's happening is that many of these women are now upset about things being fair where a man is receiving benefits from these divorce laws, because while these women want to go out here and use the shaming language and say, oh, this man shouldn't be taking this money, this man shouldn't be out here spending my money, but according to the law, it's not your money. You were a joint partner in a relationship, and as a joint partner in a relationship, your assets are the same as his assets. And this is what many men had to deal with as related to divorce court. As related to divorce court, many men had to deal with this standard from the days of the 1970s until now. And as those men had to deal with that standard of law, many men for years and decades were upset about having to pay alimony. And now that a lot of women who are making these big six figures and are executives and are celebrities, and they are now being made to make these kinds of alimony payments, a lot of them want to complain, but sadly there's nothing to complain about because, again, these were the seeds that your mothers and grandmothers put in the ground when they became feminists and walked away from being women. When they decided to become feminists and decided to fight for political policies such as no-fault divorce, these were the laws that they put in place as they looked to get equal power with a man. And as they looked to get equal power with a man, what happened is they had to take equal responsibility. And as the women have to take equal responsibility, they can't get upset because this is the responsibility that many men had to take when they when women filed for divorce on them. When women filed for divorce on their husbands or came up to them and said that they were leaving them because they weren't happy with the marriage, many of those men had to suck it up and had to go out here and work extra hours or even take second jobs to maintain this woman's lifestyle as she went out here and had relationships with other men spending his money. That's what many men had to deal with. However, many women like Mary J. Blige, they get upset about seeing a man taking this money. Again, when it comes to the courts don't see anything like race or gender. They basically just see one spouse making more than the other, and that's the standard that they use to make these decrees and be able to provide for financial support. And that's what many feminists didn't really think about as they look to make things equal. Yes, they look to make things equal between men and women, but as they look to make things equal, many women didn't think that they would ever be on the receiving end of having to pay spousal support to an ex-husband. They never thought they would have to go out here and come out of their pockets. No, they thought that it was only going to be one way. They thought it was only going to be a one-way street where men would be paying for women, and then women would be able to go out here and have relationships with other men and get extra money. I talk about this in depth in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, about how women have multiple sources of income, but they never thought that the men would be out here capitalizing on this. where they would be using a woman's income to be able to take care of themselves and then possibly have a relationship with another woman. And I believe that's the thing that really burns up on Mary J. Blige. It really burns her up to see her money being spent by this ex-husband on another woman, and that's the thing that possibly has her upset to the point where she thinks spousal support is whack. She probably thinks spousal support is whack because she sees her ex-man out here with another woman, and a younger woman at that, spending her money, 30 grand a month. And she's so messed up as related to her fiscal situation that she basically wound up in debt for a while, I believe, according to these reports. And she basically was struggling and then had to go on a tour as related to things, because she did this whole festival called Strength of a Woman Festival, which is supposed to be about the so-called strong woman. But the strong woman, when it comes to taking responsibility, just falls apart and gets angry that she has to, again, pull the weight that men had to pull since the 1970s with the feminist movement. I mean, men had to pull this weight for years when women said they weren't happy and weren't satisfied with the marriage. But what Mary J. Blige wants to do is try to make it look like it's all about so-called girl power, when the irony is that the girl power is the reason why many women are struggling with these whole financial situation, and are looking to and start taking care of a man because they wouldn't look to submit to men and look to let men take care of business. Because a lot of the no-fault divorces, again, 80% of them were filed by women who basically weren't happy, and in many cases were hypergamous and looking to monkey branch to another man for a better deal. And sadly, what's happened is many of the richer feminists out here, like a Mary J. Blige, are finding themselves in a raw deal as they go on this quest for a better deal, and are now having to pay spousal support to the man that they said that they call trifling or is a no-good man. Or in the case of Halle Berry, she said the man was a racist. I mean, they're now having to pay for men and complaining the same way men complained about having to pay to take care of a wife who didn't want to be there. And again, it's just what's happening to women like Mary J. Blige, Adele, and Halle Berry is that they're reaping what their mothers and grandmothers sowed, greater than what they sowed, later than what they sowed, to end their marriage. And again, as they end their marriage, they basically see that things are not as ideal as the feminists proposed back in the 1960s, because while they're strong and independent and say they don't need a man, they're stuck paying a man. And that's what really frustrates them, is that as they pay this man and are in the driver's seat, they basically see themselves driving themselves into a fiscal situation where they're not on easy street the way women were when they divorced their husbands. No, these women basically are driving themselves into a fiscal ditch. And I talk about that in depth in my book, The Woman Crisis, about how women drive themselves into fiscal ditches. And these divorces are part of driving them into fiscal ditches, especially in states with community property, where they wind up losing possibly half of their assets to a partner, because again, these laws do not discriminate on gender. And even though the gynocentric divorce courts basically will look to try to shame a man, but they can't shame a man at all, because again, this is the law. And these women are upset that now everything is equal, but sadly it's equal because this is what they fought for, and what they fought for isn't what they expected at all. Now, if you want to learn why many women like Mary J. Blige wound up in this situation as related to no-fault divorce, you can pick up my books, The Woman Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Woman Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. Now, if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about celebrities and taking them to the barbecue, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, a fabulous first season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, the fabulous first season, in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many Black women can't find a husband and why 70% of Black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.